Let's get salty!
Here again today with a brand new video, and I have an interesting topic to talk about, as you can tell by the title. There's a problem with the new core set with everything going on that no one's really talking about, and before I get into it, I want to say the core set is great. It's amazing that we're all getting it for free. I think it's a great change going forward to have this pool of cards that will rotate, keep things fresh every year. They can add stuff in, take stuff out, depending on what direction they want the expansions to go. It's almost all extremely positive, and I wouldn't change almost pretty much any of it. This is even really this problem I'm talking about is more a problem with cards of prior years or what's going on in the game. So let's just get into it. Let's get into it. So first, let's take a look at this picture here. These are like all the cards that are rotating out, right? These are all cards that are rotating out, and you'll notice one common trend with a lot of these cards, whether they be minions or spells, is they kind of suck. A lot of them really suck. They were there for, you know, the reasons to be bad, to fill your collection with kind of useless crap to, you know, you could generate in a game and it could lead to a crazy experience, or it's a niche card for a niche, you know, deck or something like that. Like Desert Obelisk, for example. It's like pretty much always terrible, or even go back to classic with like Lore Walker Cho, where it's a super meme card and it basically never pops up. And well, why is this bad? Why is this a problem that, you know, that these cards are leaving? Well, let's talk about a few cards. We're going to go through a few cards that are in the game right now as it stands that kind of become a problem because of this. So first, let's just start off with this example here. You can see Wandmaker in Rogue. Once all these bad spells and all this stuff rotates, look at what you will get from Wandmaker, guaranteed, unless there's more 1-mana spells in the next expansion. It's almost all great. Like, the worst thing here is like, what, Sinister Strike? And we all know that the face rogue deck likes that now, but you get like Secret Passage, which is insane, Nitro Boost Poison, which is incredible. The 1-mana freeze spell is really good. You just have a lot of crazy stuff here. And you'll note this is not just for Rogue too. You look at Paladin's 1-cost spells. All the bad secrets are gone. All these bad 1-cost spells are gone because they like kind of weeded them out throughout this classic set, or that used to be there that aren't there anymore. And what I'm getting at here is a card like Wandmaker goes from being, you know, like a decent generator to, wow, this card is absolutely busted. An example of this is when Demon Hunter came into the game. Wandmaker was like auto-include in almost every Demon Hunter deck because you would get Twin Slice, you would get the Silence, and you get like Mana Burn. That was it. You would just get really good stuff, and you know, it was really good. And then they added a bunch of more 1-cost cards that weren't as good. Still a pretty solid card, but like you get like the Throglaive, the Lifesteal spell, and yeah, so it seems like cards like a Wandmaker that were designed with classic and basic and a bunch of expansions in mind, all of a sudden kind of become problematic, that they might be a little too good. Another example of this, which I highlighted on Twitter a few days ago, is Jandis Barov. Jandis, already one of the best, most broken minions in the game. Arguably the best minion in the game at 5. You get 2 5-drops, and on average, they're pretty good. And it's just like an insane board sweep that you got to deal with. And Rogue has access to Shadow Step, which makes it even more nuts, which they don't lose for some reason, but we've already talked about that. And yeah, but Jandis was really, really good. Take a look at this. This is the current pool of 5-drops that Jandis will be pulling from. There's no Desert Obelisk. There's no Chromatic Egg. There's no like all the garbage 5-drops from classic like Booty Bay Bodyguard or Stormpike Commando or Nightblade. They're all gone. All these incredibly bad 5-drops are gone. It's almost all really good. There's like a couple bad ones, you know, a 3/3 taunt, and there's some mediocre options in there, like Faceless Manipulator, for example, but there are so many insanely impactful 5-drops that Jandis is going to become even more incredibly busted. And when she was initially designed, I don't think she was designed with this pool of minions in mind. So again, one of the issues with the spells and the minion pool being lower is the quality is so much higher. And this kind of harkens back to a tweet or like during an AMA with Ixar where they were talking about, I don't know if I'll try and find the tweet, I'll paste it there, but if I can't find it, I'll just paraphrase that. Ixar talked about how they used to make cards like with arena in mind, or like niche little combos in mind, right? Like they would make cards specifically for the purpose of it really not seeing play in arena. or same play on ladder for it to be an arena. And these kind of cards would be good to evolve in because they're usually pretty niche, not very good, but they stopped doing that. They very recently have stopped doing that, where every card is made to be powerful or have an intent of play on ladder. And then again, that's not a bad thing. But when you do that and you have all these random generator cards, it makes them so much more powerful than they've ever been before. Just imagine the Evolve pool right now. We don't really have much for Evolve cards, thankfully. The Evolve Lackey's rotating, and all we really have for Evolve is like Bog, Spine, Knuckles, and Revolve. So those get buffed, by the way, because of this, but you can't evolve into Doomsayer anymore, for example. You can't just lose your board to a Doomsayer. You know, there's a lot of those low rolls are gone now because of all these weird niche cards being rotated out. So Jandis, I could see being problematic. We got Wandmaker, and another example is Sethic Veilweaver for Priest. There are so many bad Priest spells that were in the pool, like Powered Shield, 0 mana, do nothing. Although, actually, I'll throw that one back because it's basically a free recycle in your Sethic. Bad example. But let's go with like Mind Games, right? Really bad spell. Inner Fire is leaving, and that wasn't particularly too impactful. And you're losing Radiance, but they're replacing with the better version that can restore health to anything, so you can buff your Sethic, get another spell. So again, that's even better. As well as like Mind Controlled, which typically is a bad option. But as you can see, like you look at the remaining pool of spells for Priest, it's very powerful, which will make Sethic even better. So it's almost like these infinite value generators that are relatively cheap, or just these really, you know, these minions that generate stuff for cheap or very little, like Jandis 5-drop, 2 5-drops. Incredible. I feel like they were designed with the prior pool in mind, and now they're going to be buffed to the point where they might become very problematic. And I'm not calling for any action on this right now. It's just an issue I want people to be aware of, and maybe the dev team hopefully is aware of that. They got to be a little bit more careful in terms of like evolve effects, generation effects, that if the pool of minions and spells is so incredibly powerful, they can't possibly low roll almost at all. And it's just, it's ridiculously good across all levels, that maybe they need to, you know, make Jandis a 6-drop or Sethic a 3-drop, or, you know, cost these things a little bit higher, because the payoff, you know, is really insane now that with these changes have happened. And before I wrap up the video, I don't want to sound like it's all bad for the generation cards, because let's take a look, for example, at Draconic Studies for Priest. That card gets a lot worse. You have all the Descent of Dragons going away, like Murazon going away, of Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. That goes for all like the dragon generating type of cards. So there are examples where the pool is going to get worse, but in regards to just general minion generation, general spell generation, all that stuff is going way, way up with the core set rotation, and just something to be aware of. And if you notice, you know, day one of the expansion, that, man, my opponent keeps on high rolling their minions and keeps high rolling their random spells, just remember, they probably aren't. It's going to be a lot worse going forward in terms of, you know, them generating better stuff. But again, it goes for you too, and maybe that's fine. Maybe the power level of these cards should just be way higher. But from everything that I've heard, and from my personal experience, we want the RNG cards to be there, but we don't want them to dictate everything and be incredibly powerful. So we'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. We'll see if like a Deck of Lunacy will get buffed to astronomical lengths, because, you know, Deck of Lunacy will create only even better spells on average. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are there any other examples of cards that you think will get absolutely out of control with this generation, or maybe that will actually get worse, like Draconic Studies, examples like that? It's always a fun debate to have. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.